In today's video, we are going to be setting up an adulting section in my 2024 planner. Yes, you guys, you heard that right. We are going to be adding an adulting section to my 2024 planner. You might be thinking, what is an adulting section? Well, an adulting section for me is basically things that don't fit anywhere else in my planner, but I need to keep track of it, such as my finances, chores, projects, things like that. Basically things that I need to keep track of because I'm an adult, right? So yeah, that's what we're going to do here today. But before we get started, I want to welcome you all back to my channel, or welcome you if you are new. My name is Tracy and I am a girl with plans. If you are new to my channel or you have not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and join me as I do various types of planner setups this month. I will also be doing a lot of different kind of inserts that we'll be creating just to make my life a little bit easier, and it might give you some ideas to make your life a little bit easier as well. But let's talk about today. Now, this setup is not going to be super intensive, but I'm going to kind of walk you through what I had been doing and things that I'm actually going to be changing in 2024, as well as some like trial and error type things for 2024. So first things first, this is my 2023 planner. Well, it's the planner that I was using for November and December. Basically, what I had done is I had incorporated my chores, budget, and projects into the same planner that was tracking my fitness and wellness, just because I didn't know where else to put it, to be completely honest. And I do keep that in the front. I can't show you everything right now, so I will show you the stuff as I put it into the new planner, just because I have, some private stuff written on this one. You're talking about finances and things like that. But I have my budget section. Like I said, I have projects. I can go ahead and take this out because I don't think I'm going to be doing any projects in 2023 now that we are like less than a month left. So I'm going to take this out. I am going to move this into my new planner. And then we have this chore section. This is the interesting section. So first of all, I guess let's just start by saying that this and this, as well as this. So you also have some budget pages. All of this came in the Happy Planner Homebody Extension Pack. So that is where this came from. I believe it is still available on the Happy Planner website. I will link that down below. And I also know that this particular version is sold at Hobby Lobby. They have another version that I don't know how similar or different it is, but it still has the projects, the chores, and the budget. I'm just assuming it looks a little bit different. It's called the Home Extension Pack. That one is sold out on the Happy Planner website, but I have seen it at Joann. So you can kind of look at them both to take your personal preference if this is something you would like. But this is what comes in it. You also get a meal planning section with a whole bunch of meal planning pages. I don't know where they are because I don't use them. So they are somewhere in my house. But these are the ones I was focusing on. And chores is pretty cool. And the fact, this is something I made for fall cleaning. Yeah, I didn't check it off. I did do some of this, but I didn't do a lot. Obviously, I didn't check it off. But this chores section, they have like daily chores, weekly chores, monthly chores. I'm going to be using this to create my own little thing. We'll talk about that a little bit later. We will not be creating that in this video, which I'll explain more later. All right, so we're pulling this out. I'm going to keep November and December budget in here, obviously. So let's talk first about where I'm going to be housing this adulting section. I'm going to be housing it in my goals planner. So if you have, seen some of my previous videos, my planner lineup videos, some of my other planner setup videos, then you know that for 2024, I'm going to have a dedicated goals planner. It is just going to be a place where I am going to kind of spend more time focusing on my goals, making sure I hit those goals, breaking down those goals, and all that fun stuff, yada, yada, yada. So when thinking about where to put this adulting section, I figured it might be a decent place is to put it in the back of this. Mainly because in actuality, when I visit this is kind of when I can update that, if that makes sense. Like when I'm visiting my goals section, when I am going into my goals planner, writing down like what happened in the day, what needs improvement, that's when I can go in and kind of update the adulting section as needed, if that makes sense. So I felt like this was a pretty good place to house that information. Plus a lot of the stuff in here is going to be related to goals. And it's not going to be super thick. That was another reason. Plus, let's be honest, my other option was to put it with my health and wellness, and I don't really want to do that again. It really did not belong there. In my brain, it just did not belong there. All right, so let's get started. I've not created a cute little divider or anything yet. That you'll see that during my like monthly setup, right? All right, so what do I do for expenses? This is where we're going to chat a little bit, because I don't budget. I just want to track my expenses. I want to see where my money is going. So, I want to be like, all of a sudden when I look at my bank account and I notice it's a little bit lower than it usually is, I want to be able to go to some place and look at all of my expenses in one place. I have a few credit cards, so it's just nice to have it all in one place and not have to log into multiple accounts and figure that all out. So that is what I'm doing. Let's talk about how I'm tracking it. So I'm using the Know Your Worth Undated Budget Planner. I like this budget planner. I like it because of these sheets, the weekly expense sheets. There is another sheet. Did I already take the other sheet out? Let's see. Where is or did I not? Let's see. Yes. So you have the savings tracker sheet and accounts and debts and stuff like that. I think I've already taken it out of some of them in preparation for the setup because I don't use it. So I don't really use this sheet. I don't really use this sheet. These can be super beneficial. I will tell you why I don't use it. I do like this, but this is also the same as on this home extension pack. And the reason why I don't use this is because a lot of my expenses stay consistent from month to month. So if I write it here at the beginning of every month, which is on the back of the calendar, I feel like I'm just writing the same thing over and over for most of this stuff. The only things that differ will be my personal expenses. My food would fluctuate here and there, but it's not really due to eating out or anything. It's just, fluctuation in grocery expenses. Entertainment is pretty much non-existent, sadly. So like personal and other would be the only things that, change from month to month. So I don't really like to write this month to month. What I have been doing and what works really well for me is instead of doing weekly expenses, I changed this to category types. So I want to track how much I'm spending per category and not per week. So for me, I want to track what I am spending in planning and crafting supplies. That's a big one for us here in the planning community. Sometimes it is hard to imagine that when you go and you buy all this stuff, deeply discounted, and you're spending like $8 here, $10 there. It seems like you're not spending that much. But then when you look at it at the end of the month and you have a lot of lines filled, you realize you're well over $100, and that was way more than you should have spent. So that's what I do. So I usually do planning and crafting. I'll have one page I usually break it up because it's just me and my house. So like I can use one page and do groceries for half and then gas for the other half. I'll also telework, so I don't really have that much gas expenses either. So I'll put those there. I do not do utilities and stuff like that on here. And then I'll have other essentials. So any other things that are essentials, like if I go to a wholesale club to get garbage bags and stuff like that, I might put that here. And then I'll have another page that says non-essentials. And it kind of just varies. So like for December, I might do like November, December, I had like gifts, like a gift section. So I just kind of create categories that do change based on the month, do change based on what's coming up, things like that. I'm really hoping that I can have a fun and recreation section in 2024 because I really want to spend money on that more. But that's how I use this, and I really like this. I really, really like this. Could I make my own? Yeah, but I got these planners deeply discounted. I think they were like $3.50, and I grabbed two, so I'm going to use them. Now here is where my confusion comes in, or not confusion, but my question comes in. For me, as I mentioned, A lot of my bills stay pretty consistent. The due dates are consistent. The amounts are consistent. The things that change is like my water bill may fluctuate anywhere between, you know, $1 to $5 or something like that. My electricity definitely fluctuates, but it stays fairly consistent for each season. So, you know, for example, like December, January, and February, my electric bill is going to probably be in a similar range. And then when you get to like April and May, it's going to be, you know, so it fluctuates, but it's kind of in the same ballpark for multiple months in a row. My credit cards are basically my expenses. I put everything on my credit cards. So those are already tracked when I list my individual expenses. So I don't really have a lot of variable expenses. And this is where my questions come in. And this is where I was trying to figure out what I want to do for my budget planner in 2024. I do like seeing when all of my bills are due. I like that. It's nice to see where things are, like, if there's a whole bunch of stuff due at the beginning versus the end. And the reason why I do like to see that is because, like, credit cards, even though my credit card payments due on like the 7th, I can pay it early. I can pay it at the end of the month. So it's coming out of this paycheck versus, you know, so I can like make little changes like that based on where most of my stuff is. Plus I can always change when I pay a certain bill. They don't mind if you pay them early. You can't pay them late, but you can pay anything early. So I can kind of change that based on where the variety of my due dates are. However, all my due dates stay the same. There are a few bills. So like I have some annual subscriptions that come up every so often. I have my trash is every quarter. My water is every other month. But for the most part, all the other ones are the same. So I don't know if I need to fill this out every month. It's basically what I'm saying. Do I need to fill it out? I don't really. I feel like it's becoming repetitive. All I'm doing every month is putting the little boxes in the same exact day. I'm putting the amount that's typically the same in the same exact day. I'm putting my little icons down. I was wondering if I can just white out the days of the week and just like write 1 through 30 starting here and literally just put those boxes on once. Just once. And then if I want, I can put a half sheet in for those like variable expenses. Now for like my trash, I can actually put my trash when it's due and then just write like the months that it's due. So if it's like January, so I can write like January, April, like I can just write it because it's gonna be what, 4 times a month, 4 times a month, 4 times a year. So I can just write those here. So I'm thinking that's what I'm gonna do. And if I do that, we will film that. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys have ever tried that and if it became confusing. So if I did that, I would just use one of these. And this would be the thing that I would use the whole year. It would just stay here and it would just be an overall snapshot of when my bills are due. So that's what I'm thinking about. I don't even know if that's even essential. But for the time being, we're going to throw this whole month in here. I mean, the only other thing is that I would almost still need a monthly divider that says like January and stuff. So that way I knew where my expenses were. All right. So that's January. I had another month, but we're going to put this aside for now. Okay, the other thing. All right, so this is everything for that month. Like I said, I'm gonna figure out if this is gonna be a more annual overview of my bills. That's kind of where I'm thinking, and it's kind of where I think I'm gonna head. So if that's the case, what I may end up doing is adding another divider and making this, or just adding one of these top tab dividers and then making this my monthly expenses. And I'll just keep 1 month at a time, and then I'll rotate that out to an archived planner somewhere where that would house all 12 months. So I'll only keep 1 month in here at a time. All right, so in my current planner, I remember I told you I had this section that I couldn't really show you. Well, I'm gonna show you everything that I had in that section. All right, so first thing, let's go back. This. This, I bought a color block layout that I did not love. It is a 2023 planner, But, you know, they have the 2023, 2024, so I kept this side. And then it has your perpetual calendar. Now, obviously, because this is a 2023 perpetual calendar, the shaded areas are not, and like the days of the week are not, right? But who cares? All I care about is the date. What I did here was write all of my subscriptions on here. All of my subscription reminders are on here. There we go. So, and when I say subscriptions, it's anything that has an annual, quarterly, any type of thing like that, that is not an essential. So I'm not talking about my trash that's quarterly. This is actual subscriptions that I can cancel. I mean, I can cancel my trash, but like I even have credit cards on here. Like I have my JetBlue credit card because when that renews in August, I'm going to have a $99 fee. So it's like, do I want to keep it? Do I want to cancel it? I don't know. And just to be duplicative, I also created this subscription reminder here where it's just that. I just literally created this table in Microsoft Office, put subscription reminders on it, front and back, put monthly, quarter, yearly, and then whether or not it auto renews. So that way I know when I need to do it. I wanted it separate from this just in case I wanted to move this somewhere else. So I knew that I was being duplicative, but there was a reason, a method to the madness. This subscription reminder is like 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. I wanted one sheet. So if I needed to move this to another particular one, or when I'm actually filling out my catch-all, if I want to tear this out and keep it with me when I'm doing my catch-all, I can do that. That was a thought behind it. It did not take very much extra work at all. Okay, now we're going to get into that extra little category that I was telling you about in my budget section. So like here is like a random divider that I'm going to use. Okay, I need to cover this with something. But, so here's the first thing that I like to keep track of. This, basically, I have one in my current planner. This is for my flex spending account balance. Now my flex spending account is on the fiscal year and not on the calendar year. So my old one that is still in my 2023 planner will go through the end of June, but this will be the one that starts in July. I like to keep track of how much money I have left on that credit card. I need to keep track of it because they don't let you know. Like they don't let you know that you only have $50 left. So you kind of need to know that so that way you're not actually having to pay out money. And then you also need to know that you don't lose money at the end of the year by not using it. So I definitely like to keep track of my flex spending account here. I just created this. Actually, I think this was a Canva template that was not a flex spending. It was an editable, like you can edit it. When I said that, it sounded like I was talking about an edible, like you eat it. But no, it's editable. But anyway, it was just a medical expense tracker, but you could edit it. So I changed this to FSA. I changed this to FSA for flex spending account. So I basically changed the categories to fit my needs. So that's what I did there. Okay. So now we have that done. Now we are going to talk about these little extensions, which, oh, I have a bill tracker too. Look at that. Look at that. I have a bill tracker. I'm not sure how I'm going to use it. I just created it where I could write. I probably will use it, but I had created this to make my life easier when I was doing my monthly calendar. So that way I can see the bills when they're due, the amount, and then I would check the months that they're due, not when I pay them. I would check every month that they're due. So if it is a quarterly or every other month, then I would check the month that's due. I'm still going to do this. This might be more useful than the calendar, so I got to figure it out. Basically, I'm putting everything in here to see what works, and then probably about February or March, I'll have a better idea, and I'll start like taking things away and simplifying it, or changing things up. So yeah, this is very duplicative. Again, I made this in Microsoft Office. I just created a table. That's pretty much it there. But yeah, so that is my bill tracker. All right, now we can get to these. I keep finding stuff. That's the crazy thing. So I hope it's not confusing, you guys. I'm sorry. If you have any questions, you can ask me down in the comments. I will respond. All right, so this was my plan for 2024. My plan was to do kind of quarterly expense breakdown here. And my quarterly was going to be seasonally. So my quarterly wasn't going to be January, February, March. It was going to be December, January, February. Just because, like I said, especially when it comes to water and electricity, I feel like they're more consistent seasonally than quarterly. Like March is going to probably be a little bit different with those bills than January and February, if that makes sense. So that's why I was thinking about doing it seasonally. Because doing it monthly, again, it just felt like I was writing the same information down month after month after month. And it really just wasn't helping me. So at first I thought about using this and doing this seasonally. And then I realized I only had this sheet left. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to buy a new extension pack or something. Yeah, I completely forgot about the one that came on the back of my my monthly my monthly budget sheet. I completely forgot about this, but whatever. I started thinking I want to create my own. So I did this again in Microsoft Office, and what I did is I sized it in Microsoft Office to 7 by 9.25. That's why it's off, because I'm gonna need to cut it with my paper cutter. But I do that because that way I print it on one side and then I literally flip it over manually and print it on the other, because I can't figure out how to get it right to print two-sided. So I just have to manually do it. But what I created was 2024 winter expenses. And then if I really like how this goes, then I'll do 2024 spring and blah, blah, blah. So I have my income. I have my monthly savings, because I do want to transfer money to my savings account each month. So I want to account that on here. Then I have my fixed expenses. So right now it's like mortgage, internet, Hulu. There's more. I couldn't think when I was creating this. So I don't know. But a lot of my like subscriptions are annually now. Like I subscribed over the course of Black Friday. I subscribed to like Peacock, and I got Walmart Plus, which includes Paramount Plus. I got Sirius XM Radio for like 3 years now. Again, do I need it? No, but I wanted it. It was a really good price. Beside the point. But those are all now annual expenses. So they'll all come out at one time, but it's not coming out in the winter. So I don't have as many like fixed expenses anymore, believe it or not. I mean, I have like trash and stuff, but that's going to be down here, because what I did, so I have my fixed expenses. These are going to be every single month. So it really doesn't make sense, but I know how it's going to work. So these are going to be my monthly fixed expenses. These are going to be my monthly variable essential expenses. Essential expenses because some of my non-essentials are going to be captured on my weekly. Remember when I said I have a page per category, and I just jot that down on the Know Your Worth. So my non-essentials a lot of times are captured here. I do capture some essentials, but mostly it's my non-essentials. So my variable essential expenses are here. Again, it's electricity, groceries, gas, prescriptions, chiropractor. And I put chiropractor here because I am going to try to make that more of like at least once to twice a month. Put that in there. So like I have other medical expenses, but that's not necessarily monthly, and I might not even do it quarterly. You know what I'm saying? All right, so we have all that. Then I created this upcoming bi-monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, and annual expenses. And what I did is I wrote the ones here. So I did my bills, which is water, trash, Amazon. I wrote Amazon here. It will not be in the future months, future seasons, because it is due in January. But then I have a description, and the description is mainly for these other boxes. Like I put subscription here to kind of like remind me if I have any subscriptions, but I'll write that here. And then I will write like the frequency. So I will write like B for biannual, Q for quarterly, you know, something like that. I don't know yet. The amount. And then I would literally check what day, which month it's coming out. So that way I can have a record, and then I'll write the total amount here. Or I don't know yet. Maybe I'll write the amount here and then transfer the amount there. I don't know yet. I don't know. Like I said, I'm testing this out to see what works. I may end up even changing it in January. We'll see. And then I have a miscellaneous upcoming expenses. but this is also going to be more essential type stuff. So like I have car, home maintenance. These are just examples to remind me when I could fill it out, because sometimes I really do have short-term memory issues. Personal expenses, so like hair appointments, things like that. Again, I would still kind of consider them necessities. And then like travel expenses, which yes, I'm considering a necessity. So again, these are expenses that are not going to occur every month, but they might occur one of the months. I just want to have a place for it. And then I created this on the back, and this is where I'm going to pop these totals here as well as the totals here to kind of get an overall view of how much I'm bringing in and how much is going out. Is basically what I want to do. So I just divided that by the quarter. So again, I just wrote the categories like fixed expenses, variable expenses, and that's my bi-monthly, quarterly, my miscellaneous essentials. And then these are kind of the categories that are going to be here. So right now I have crafting, planning supplies, fun and rec, other non-essentials, and other. So that is what I'm planning on using instead of this. So that's what I'm planning on using. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this really quick with my paper cutter. I just changed the blade out, so hopefully it won't be all ragged. All right, guys. And even though I said I'm going to have a adulting section, I'll kind of go over a couple more things with you guys, but some of this stuff is going to be, you'll see it later, because I'm going to have a completely separate video for some of the setups. New blade is so nice, especially when I was using that dull blade well past the time I should have. All right, so I'm just gonna punch this, and I'm going to pop this in my planner. I will likely have another divider. I may move this to the front. I don't know. Right now, I just want to get it in my planner. I'll have to figure out what is best for me. Like this might go, I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Okay. So I think that is not it for budget, but that's it for budget as far as what I'm putting in here right now. So there's a couple of other things that I'm going to make that is not necessarily going to go in the budget section, but I kind of just want to do an honorable mention right now because it kind of might relate to my budget. And that is, I'm going to be creating some inventory sheets, and they are going to go here because, again, where else am I going to put them? Or am I? Maybe not. Maybe you guys can give me some advice. All right. So I want to create inventory sheets, inventory list, or something like that of the things that I have a lot of. So that way I can kind of first see what I have, see what I need to use, or see what I need to get rid of. But I think mentally it's going to kind of remind me not to buy more. So the two things I really want to focus on this month, and I have already included that in my goals. So if you saw my goals set up for December, then you already know that this is what I want to do. So I need to do a skincare inventory sheet / makeup. It might be separate, like makeup and skincare separate. And then a planning and crafting supplies inventory sheet. So I want to list everything that I have. For planning supplies, it's literally just going to be a list. I will divide them by types. But for skincare, it's going to be divided by types, but I'm probably also going to include things like expiration dates and probably like somewhere for me to write whether or not I want to rebuy it or not. Because a lot of the skincare came from subscription boxes. So they were like new to me products, and I don't know whether or not I want to do it. So I can create my own like little sheet. I can use note paper, happy notes, make it look cute with stickers, what have you. But recently I picked up some of these productivity journals from Erin Condren, and I could also use these. I could just continuously use this as like almost like an inventory notebook. So maybe I'll do that. It'll be like a little awkward because here you have the checklist and here you don't. So it'll be a little awkward. I would have to figure out how best to use this. I mean, I can always do a 2-page spread and do something with the checklist. I don't know. But I need to ponder on it, but I need to ponder on it soon because that was one of my goals for this year, or for this month, was to create those inventory sheets. But eventually I want to do like pantry inventory or, you know, freezer inventory again, which I did earlier in this year and I never really kept up with it. But I need to do stuff like that so I'm not like buying stuff that I don't need to buy because I already have it. So I'm debating on whether or not to just use one of these notebooks as like inventory. And I can like literally keep it with my current planners, or if I want to create an insert. So I got to figure that out. Let me know what you guys think. I would love to hear it. But that's kind of, I'm considering that part of budget because it will kind of keep me hopefully with mindful spending. And then I have these project sheets, which again was just part of the extension pack. That's why I have these. I have a lot of project sheets. But I'm going to use these because they have its own like little divider that says projects. But I just want to keep these because there are going to be some projects that I want to do that are more like home related projects, home improvement projects, nothing like crazy. But I like to keep that there. So I think that's it for this particular planner. Now we are going to quickly go over chores. So I'm going to film a video later on, sooner rather than later, but it will be in this month, where I am going to kind of break down by room type what I need to clean daily, weekly, monthly. Now, some of those are not going to be daily. Like I don't need to do certain things like my office. Basically in my office, I just need to do a quick pickup on the days that I'm in my office, my at-home office. So like if I don't even go into the office on a Saturday, I don't need to do anything on a Saturday. But for the most part, some of the stuff I don't really need to do a lot in every day. But then when you talk about weekly chores, I like to just do a breakdown of what I need to do in each room during the week, even though I kind of have it in my brain which rooms take longer to clean. The main reason for doing that is when I'm looking at my weekly schedule and I'm trying to like figure out what rooms to clean on what day, because they do vary. Like I'm not going to always do on Mondays my bedroom. That might be quite an undertaking. I don't know. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But if it is, and I have dinner plans after I finish working, I'm only gonna have a little bit of time to like do straightening up. So I might want to do something that takes less time. So that's kind of why I like to do it. Plus it's this whole monthly thing that I really need to write down somewhere and make sure I actually do it. And I'm thinking about utilizing the notes pages. Let me show you. In my spiral bound planner. So I am going to be doing a setup of this, and it's going to be a real setup. It's not going to just be adding my name and redating and stuff. I think some of the pages in here, I'm going to be using label paper, stickers, and stuff like that to make some of the pages in here a little bit more useful. But this planner comes with note pages. It comes with lists. Could I just use it? Yeah, but I think I want to make it cute. So I think I'm going to make some of these pages cute and make this like do a 2-page spread or a 4-page spread with my cleaning schedule. So that's what I'm thinking about doing. And I want it in my catch-all because in my catch-all, what I do is every week, if you've seen my plan with me, then you know this is not going to change. I write on the weekly thing, I like map out my week. When I have appointments, when I have anything going on, is mapped out here. So I can see it. I can kind of get an idea of what I have time to do each day. And then I'll like pencil it in here because of course it could change. And then I would literally go and transfer that into my daily to-dos when I go to do it. So I think that's why I think it makes sense to have it in this particular planner, because it's something that I'm going to be referencing a little bit more frequently than monthly. Whereas like my bills, I do write my bills sometimes, not all my bills, but I write like subscriptions and stuff on either my monthly calendar or somewhere over here. But I just refer to that each month, once a month. But cleaning is something that I feel like I'll refer to like at least like the sheet like once a week. So that way when I'm scheduling it out. So that's why I think I'm going to move it here. And then if I like it, I will just either create new ones every time because this is a 6-month planner, or what I can do, I'm not going to actually do this right now. But I think you guys caught this during my goal setup. If you watch my goal setup, is I like literally, you can take scissors on these spiral bound planners and literally cut. Like, I'm not really doing it, but you like cut in between this, and then it almost makes it like a discount system where you can pull it off and pop it back on. So I could always do that. I could try to do that next year. So we'll see. I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't know if I'm going to just have it as a reference sheet or if I want it more of like a check off sheet. So I'll have to think about that. And like I said, I will do that this month before the start of the year. So that way, if it's something that you guys are interested in, then maybe you guys can do something like that too. But yeah, that is pretty much my adulting section, which is, you know, budget, inventory of what I got, chores, and projects. That's pretty much it. So it wasn't like extravagant, but it's something that does help me out. It helps me like sort out my life. It helps me plan and things like that. So I definitely wanted to share that with you guys. I hope you found it helpful. Again, if anything was confusing, feel free to ask me questions down in the comments. I will gladly respond. And if you have any suggestions, I would love to hear them. All right. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. And if you're not already subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button. All right, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch this video. And I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, or night. Until next time, bye.